Hey, I'm Dave Knight with the Dave Knight Real Estate Team, and we love being a real estate resource for people. Today's question is, how do you sell a probate? And to do that, I'm going to give a case study of how not to sell a probate in a recent transaction that I did. So here's what happened. I got a phone call from a nonprofit organization out of state saying, hey, Dave, we are the beneficiary, the sole beneficiary of a property out in Los Angeles County. And we have been presented, the executor of the estate has presented an offer to us, and we think it's low. Could you look into that for us? So I look at the data and I say, gosh, as a tear down, this house is probably worth $500,000 more or even more than that. And that's conservative. So here's what ended up happening. On the other side of things, the property is now vacant because the homeowner's passed away. So homeowner decedent passes away. He has a will and no trust. So that will identifies the executor, who is the neighbor, and then the beneficiary, because he's got no family. The beneficiary is a nonprofit organization from out of state. So executor comes in, and what the executor didn't understand in that case, and what you have to understand is in a probate, when you are an executor, if there's a will, or administrator, if there's no will, you have a duty to the estate. You can't sell it to your cousin or to a family member for half price. You have to look at the desires of the decedent, and that's what the probate court process and the probate sale process has accountability for, to make certain that that beneficiary out of state receives the full amount that they're due. You can't sell that house for $1 and send the nonprofit beneficiary $1, and then you hooked up your cousin with sale, and then you go behind the scenes and then flip that property in the future. There's reasons for this accountability, which is great. So what has to happen in a probate sale is, and I got pulled into this to basically represent the executor, because there was a breakdown in trust where the beneficiary was going to eventually have to sign off on the offer and the terms of the offer through a notice of proposed action, because they trusted in me, knowing that I would sell it for the maximum value. That's where the attorney basically said to the other attorney and to the executor, hey, you need to hire Dave. So that's how I got pulled into it. So here's what happens in that process. Executor needs, when they have full, now this is when there's full authority, which does not have to go through court unless there's any objections, which is a very simpler sale. There's also limited authority. I'm not going to talk about that now. That doesn't happen as often. Full authority, the executor makes business decisions about maximizing value to the estate, puts it on at the right price, does their best to sell the asset for as much as possible, negotiates that offer. Once the buyer's contingencies are removed, ideally, then the realtor will send information to the attorney saying, hey, here's all the information for the notice of proposed actions. Now, in that case, that's a document that gets sent out to all the beneficiaries. They have 15 days to object if they're not happy with any of those terms. And that's the accountability process and step. So if somebody just feels like, oh, you're selling it for half price, like I object, then they can bring that up, and then it can't move forward in that moment if there's an objection. So that's the safety net of the probate process, which is really helpful to make certain that when a decedent leaves money or leaves an asset and has beneficiaries, that those beneficiaries get what they're due. So hopefully this gives you a little bit of a picture from a bad experience of how a probate process works and how it benefits people when somebody passes away and they've got a will but not a trust. Make it a great day. We'll see you on the next video.